Righto, so we're live and we're roughing it. So I brought all the gear with me, we've done how to use it. So pretty much what I've done now is decide to use the phone instead of the GoPro and all the rest of it. So the 3 mugs in the thing is the 2 Fuzzellas. This is my mate Rob. Fuzzy and I came here 40 years ago for 82 Nationals. This is young bloke Trav and his mate Rob Lee. So they're my offsiders, got the bloody lights and action. And my idea was me and Fuzz would walk around and talk about shit, so we'll still try and do that, but we know the sound's going to be pretty average, so I'm not going to say a lot, but I'm going to give you a good look around and see what's in the hall. So we'll get started. Of course, first thing I see is the VL, but we'll start down the other end, I think. Go down here, there's a Falcon down here, we'll start there. So, weather's good, place is good. Sorry I'm an hour late, I'm a bit frustrated and that things didn't quite go to plan, but that's life. Who's got the light? Well, that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect to see that in there. So I'm going to be fairly quick about it. We're not going to focus on too many because obviously there's 60 odd cars in there and it'll take forever. So we'll just try and cover most of them. The ones that have been around a while I won't be on for too long. Nice flat paint. I can see the comments on there. If you can hear the sound all right, let me know and I'll talk a bit more. But sounds good, Dad. Thanks, Louise. Having a few dramas with the GoPro. It wouldn't link to the Astill design page. It would only link to the Howard page. So we've talked to the text on the screen and all here and just decided we'd do it. So we'll move through. So we're here early so that we wouldn't have all the people in the way, but of course we didn't dodge that bullet. Get around the other side where the door's closed. Morning, Howard. Hey, how you going? So we just lost our link then a minute ago. So with so many people here doing what I'm doing, obviously the internet's struggling a bit. So I've got my mate Fuzz on the light, so gives us a bit more of a better shot of the... You can tell I'm a bit of an engine man because that's the big focus here. Any Fords here, Fuzz?
Pardon?
Any Fords here?
Oh yeah, one just here, mate. Good one.
So presentations are like, I think 1 o'clock or something like that today, so we don't know what's won anything at this stage.
Proper Ford coming up, mate.
Here's a Ford. Pretty tidy job too. So we overheard old mate talking to someone last night that he's tried to reuse as many original parts as he had, so things like the water bottle probably you can buy a repo, but he's opted to stay with the original stuff, so sort of nice to hear. So we'll get back a bit more and get the whole car in. So we'll spin around, Fuzz, and go over this way. So because I was going to use the GoPro, I haven't got my gimbal on the phone, so I'm just trying to do the best I can, and the next show we go to I'll be organised. So here's another falcon. We'll be seeing a bit of this one around the place, I think. Got a little pump on it. And the bit with Fuzz and I liked earlier was, I don't know if I'm a fan of these wheels, everyone's got them, but that looks pretty impressive. Which one? That one, is he? If you like a bit of bling, there's plenty of bling here. Plenty of leather. Looks like a Swarovski crystal. This is a girl's car. Seen it unveiled last night. I like that style of hat.
Nice and neat and tidy.
Isn't it ever? Righto, so we'll go back over, we're back in line so we don't miss anything. Unfortunately, like I said, the crowd's rolling in now, so we've lost that hour, me trying to get YouTube to go, but now this car here I'd heard about, but I'm really impressed with the style of the engine bay. I mean, it reminds me of the old boats when I used to go to the boat races with Dad with that stack injection and the steps in the injectors. Sort of love that look. So it says 5 litre Holden. What is it, Trav? Is that a Holden or a Chev? Big block Chev by the look of it.
632 Q big block Chev.
Oh, is that all?
It says Holden 5 litre, but
I see that.
per bank it'll count.
Because the distributor's in the wrong end for me.
It's in the right end.
So young Trav's our Holden encyclopedia, because Fuzzy and I only know about Fords. So super clean. Whoop.
There's the guff on it there, mate.
There we go, 632 big block. Another one out of the Proflow stable. Plenty of good name builders in that lot. So we'll spin around behind us. Now, I'm pretty sure this is another Wollongong car. The old Wollongong VL capital of the world. And I think he's dating a girl in our estate, because it's been cruising past our place a bit lately, so it does get used, I can tell you. And I don't know the owner, but I can say to you, Fuzz, I'm not necessarily a fan of this bloody undercoat grey, but it's obvious a lot of people like it because there's plenty of it about, but it doesn't sort of tickle my fancy as a 60-year-old dude.
I think the old FJ Ute started that off with the primer grey.
Yeah. It's got a lot going on. Like, looking at that, Fuzz, I can't see why that shouldn't win something. I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm not seeing a lot wrong with it, and that's normally what the difference is, where there's something wrong with it, not what's right with it. But we all know it's a funny game. Hello, I was expecting 8 cylinders in there. Just take that light away, Fuzz, and I'll show people why we're walking around with the light. That's what you'd get if we didn't have the light man on the job. So, been learning a bit off Josh about lights and action. So, that's the King. So another hot rod here, another nice little hat, all tapped in there. So all of this stuff's going to go up on the YouTube when Josh gets a moment, when he gets out of his J-Ben's hat and puts his Astill design hat back on. He can make up a nice video, all of this that we've done the footage earlier. Trendy looking hot rod. Nice hatch. People may not know, but my mate Louis that used to help me had one of these, and we did a rebuild on that for Summernats 6, I think it was, and it was a white A9X sort of look-alike deal. Hey, how you going, buddy? We're live, mate.
With the channel, mate.
Good, mate. Thanks. Yeah, it's going well. So we did Louis Tirana for that, and that one top standard paint back then, which was one of those unusual ones. 2-pack had just come out, and I actually used the 2-pack high fill on it, and then used acrylic and buffed the acrylic up, and did all the matte blacks and all that sort of stuff, and brought it over. So I have worked on a few Holdens in the days. And in fact, I seen today, showing Fuzz this morning at breakfast, that one of my memories come up. Summernats 25, we had the Mustang here, and Louis decided to get married on the sad day of Summernats. So Fuzz set the Mustang up. Heather and I zipped down to Albury for the wedding and got back here about half an hour before presentation. So if you're watching, Louis, we're thinking of you, mate. Oh, and Webb just whispering him in my ear there.
Trav lights this car.
Trav lights this car. It's a bit hard to get the paint to get up with the light in here. I'm sure this goes crazy in the sun. I'm sure he likes the wheels too, Fuzz. But tell me about it.
Nice.
Tell me about it, Fuzz. Young Fuzz.
LS VK, Harrop top mount, nice set of wheels.
Do you like that stance? I'm more other way around.
Come up a little bit in the back.
Yeah, for your like. I mean, I'm a...
Or down a little bit in the front.
Yeah, I'm old school nose down, but I noticed a lot of these guys now, I don't know whether it's the drag race thing or what, but a lot of them seem to be... got the arse down a bit.
Level.
You're a level man?
Level.
Well, there you go. I mean, everyone's different. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Righto, next one.
Yeah.
So, funny thing is, some of these cars you might say, well, it's been here before, why is it in here? If you get to build a really good car, you can keep coming in the hall for 10 years if it's built properly. I was talking to this guy with a Chevy today.
That mirror there.
Oh, look at that.
Find his distributor because it's at the wrong end.
Good on you, Fuzz. Fuzzy's the one-liner man. So we're chatting to this bloke this morning. What a lovely car. I was feeling my age a bit because his young bloke said hello, Mr. Astill. I thought that was pretty cool. Just come around behind me with that light, Fuzz. Yeah, that's cool.
I like the setup with
The radiators and intercoolers, and there's a lot going on. Now, corner of my eye here, Fuzz, is a matte car. What's your thoughts on all this matte stuff? I can't get my head around it.
Didn't do it for me, but it's still a very nice car.
It's a beautiful car.
It's a beautiful car.
Hey, you're good.
He didn't build it for me to like.
That's it. Hello, there's a big rocker cover there.
I like what he's done there. It's pretty cool.
It's a big block.
That's a very big block. We'll need to read the sign. I'm sure it's a Boss 9, but 544 big block Hemi, no?
Yeah, it's Hemi.
Yeah, but I'm working on a Hemi, but it's a Ford Hemi, but I couldn't quite fathom with the handmade rocker covers what the go was. Alright, so we were talking this morning, this almost looks like Boss XC Blue, but without the glass in it. So I'll be taking that home for a bit of a thought about how much chrome we need and what colour combinations. Just hasn't that got that real bling that we're going to have, but it's a beautiful car as well.
No, not yet.
Fuzzy's got about 3 boats following him, taking photos while we got the light on the cars. Righto, keep moving. Now, Fuzz, I love the colour combination on this.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, it's a solid opaque white, which is a bit unusual nowadays, but I really like the colours he's used on the engine. You know, something a bit different. So I've got some bits away getting done in that colour. I'm not going to tell you where they're going yet, but for the boss, so I like that. How are we doing?
Want to talk to you later?
For sure. So I'm meant to be up at Mother's about now, but I'm obviously here filming, so
No, all good.
yeah, I'll be kicking around. The utes out the front. I'm either normally there or up at the Mother's stand. I'll be up at Mother's at 1:30 till 2:30.
Enjoying the podcast, mate.
Good, excellent. So this is a really cool little piece. Have a look at the detail in there. So I mean, you don't need an LS and all the crap going with it and blowers and stuff. You just need something super nice to what you like. And I mean, Trav, you'd own that, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
Mate, that's wonderful. Righto, spin around and try not to miss too many here. It's a bit hard. So, Mark Arblast, eat your heart out. That brings back memories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, hey, bud. That's a pretty cool looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I like
Wow, look at the wheels on the back.
it. I like it.
There's a bit happening there. Now, Fuzz, a guy I know in Wollongong said, I'm looking for a spill tray for me XE. I don't quite get that. Every car I ever bought, I took that off.
Yeah.
But it's obviously becoming a thing because there I'd see one on the car. So, I mean, it's not like you're going to spill the petrol on that car, are you?
No, you're going to be very, very careful.
So, Trav, how long's my battery going to last? How long my battery going to last, you reckon?
No idea.
No, either do I, because it doesn't tell me on here. Actually, we got the battery pack with us. We might plug it in a minute. Now, this thing here, I did a bit of footage of this earlier for the YouTube when we put that up next week or the week after. The work in this engine bay is bloody outstanding, and I was saying there that you get a car like this, yes, it's a race car, but you can really pull some ideas out of this for your street car, whether it's just the way it's plumbed or things are supported and attached. But I mean, look at how much is going on there, and Fuzz pointed out, like, check out, you know, the wiring for the oxygen sensors and bloody beautiful pipe work, and it's just amazing. I mean, I love looking at that sort of stuff, and I mean, people that know me know that I'm a big follower of supercars, and Rob Herod, if you're watching and listening, it's still a bloody Holden, mate, but there are a few Fords here. But I mean, that's spectacular, isn't it? And then, I don't know if you noticed, Fuzz, but the front's airbrushed. And you'd hardly know, would you? I'm sure it's airbrushed, it's not printed.
Very cool.
Very cool car. And then,
615 cubes.
only 615 cubes, that one. So, the old EH here, there's a class here that we won with Cobra 400 that's authentic. So restoration, so this would be in that, and that's why it's in the hall, and looks like a pretty spectacular job. I mean, the old EH never had a paint job that good, Fuzz. Yeah, that's pretty special too, look at that. So, for anyone that does restoration work, they know how hard it is, but it's probably harder sometimes to get a car to look this good original than it is to do a modified, because you can just buy it off the shelf, or you cut and polish it and make it look good. But to get everything to look factory is really difficult. So, bloody hats off to whoever built that. We'll buzz over here, and Now,
Like that power in.
yeah, we'll put the power in while we're going. There we go, got me offside. Look at this, got the crew here, we've got the boys. Plug that in, turn it on. Entourage as well. Now I'll try and hold the camera on a car while we're doing it. Yep. So I'll stick that in one of my million pockets. I now know why camera guys wear coats with 50,000 pockets in them. So I was saying on the other one with Fuzz this morning that had a tunnel ram on the van back in, not on the van, on the XA in '86. I still like that look, but I don't think the van should have that somehow, but you never know. Never say never. Righto. So this was cruising around yesterday, I think, and we had to move over a bit for the wide body. She's wide body all right.
Oh, it's a bit missing.
It's a bit missing? I don't know.
Probably a bit missing.
That might be the look, Fuzz. You got to remember, we're 60, mate. We don't know what we're looking at.
Shaved handles.
Shaved handles. The graphics going.
I might go around here and see if there is a bit missing.
No, there's a... Now, young Trav pointed out to me this morning that I would never have known that this VL, this VL, the bumpers are one piece. So, front and rear. So I'm not quite sure how he went about that, but it's pretty bloody clever.
That's something on there I wanted to do on the Toronto for many years.
So, we've been doing a bit of plastic welding on the Boss, and I'm sure it's possible, but I'm just not quite sure how you get it that straight with all them lines. Someone spent a lot of time making that happen, I can tell you.
Front ones are the same.
So that a factory colour combo, sort of? That's
What's that?
is that a factory colour? Yeah.
Oh, the colour, no.
No.
Colours,
So is that a bit
The
like
colours are
is that a bit like your clubby though? That sort of grey?
Similar. Looks very similar to each other.
Well, welcome along everybody. We're up to over 400 people live, so I'm really pumped about that. So are these getting like GTHA Falcons, where there's more calories now than there was from the factory, or what? Now, there's a whole lot of me happening there. I love this wheel combination. I don't know those that can remember, but Gary Myers ran this same sort of front and rear wheel on the Mustang when it had the flames on it, which I still love that livery that he had on it. And, you know, the hat, the whole thing, I just love that look. And Jake, if you're listening, mate, do yourself a favour and bring it out for us with the old school look, mate, because we all love it. So the Hemi, the wheels. I suppose they might be good on the van, mate. Hey?
Could do.
I might have to tub it, but
Tub it. Plenty of room to tub it in. Yeah.
So there's a few nice Mustangs here this year. It's a very unusual aircraft. I don't know whether you reckon they would have made that or bought that or what. I don't think I've ever seen something like that.
Someone with a clever mind and a CNC.
See the ghost stripes?
Ah.
See the ghost stripes in there? So without the light, take the light away. There you go. You can see it better. I thought that they'd disappear, but Yeah, very cool. So we swing around and we got another chick's car, which is nice to see, but a bit of bling in the paint, a little pump on there. Righto, Trav, so obviously 308, is it?
304.
304. So what, that's the later?
Injected, yeah.
So the injected one's the 304 and the early one's 308.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm getting schooled up.
2.4 litre Whipple on it.
So what's it making? Can you tell us that? Doesn't matter really, I guess. Any more than about 300's enough.
Not giving you power.
Little hint of violet in the trim. Righto, next line. So another one of these little noisy rotaries here that was giving us a bit of an ear buzz yesterday with the pipe hanging out the side with the rego on it. It's a bit interesting. Now, Fuzz. Now. Now that's a bit of an eye catcher, isn't it?
That's a very, very nice car.
So old mate's just going to block us out a bit here. Yeah, you'll see us in a minute.
You're right, mate.
You're all right, mate. Yeah, go for it. So that's pretty spectacular.
Yes,
So a little 434. That's very tasteful, Fuzz, isn't it?
When you get a second,
Sorry?
I'll take a photo of you when I get a second.
Of course you can.
I love your work.
No problems. Because I'm always busy, just give your photo to someone or
Yeah.
do your selfie and we'll do it while we're filming.
Josh.
Someone wants a photo, so I better do that, otherwise he won't get me later. Yeah, Trav's going to be the cameraman. You get your finger over the lens, mate. That's live, remember. It's still running. Hey? Beautiful.
Oh, good on you. Love your work.
Thanks, buddy. Right, Get that out of the way. Wow, look at that. Look at the reflection there, Fuzz. How's that happening? Eh? Very subtle. And everyone's seen my cars. I like that sort of factory feel. It's got the shifter jammed in there, looking good. And the pedals over there, I'd say they're off a Fairlane or something like that. Or he might have made them. I like them too, they're cool. All right, well, we'll stop salivating on that and see what else we got. Bit of the old sexy spec. Just squeeze through there, buddy, thanks. Now, classics, mate. It's a bit hard to beat the classics.
Fill it up.
Yep. Alright. Another set of these wheels. The young bloke here. It's very tasteful.
Very nice and clean.
It's funny, I look at things, first thing I look up's up here. Look how nicely that's polished. It's all factory, but I mean, that's a massive amount of work to make that look like that. And I can tell you because I've done it. But the paint's cut real tight. You know, all these things all fit nice. This is the hard stuff. People that are trying to do a car, this is the stuff that's really difficult to get nice on a standard car. And whoever's done this done a substantial job. Righto, so we'll spin around this way now and get some more wheels. Bit of work under there too, Fuzz. Look at the underside of that bonnet.
Fair bit happening there.
Just got sidetracked again. Have a look over here. So obviously a race car, but as I said earlier, I like looking at this stuff because there's always plenty to learn and see.
Whole lot going on inside of there.
So obviously there's some scatter steels and stuff got to go in there to protect the driver.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see it all open up like that, isn't it? And another set of beautiful pipes.
Maybe we need the tech guy from this to get our cameras working.
Need to what?
The tech, the bloke that wired it.
Yeah, get the guy to widen it to work out our cameras. So, don't you love that stainless steel burnt look,
Yeah.
like that colour it goes? I mean, it's bloody sensational. I see someone's put some stars on that. I appreciate that, and I didn't even know it was on there. That's something we sort of started playing with when this all started before we got carried away with YouTube, but I can't go live with my out of sight with YouTube yet because I haven't got enough subscribers. So if you click the button, if you're on my YouTube, that just helps us to get to that next stage where we can start bringing you live stuff from shows and cruises or people's workshop and stuff. So,
A lot of inputs and nitrous inputs.
so young Fuzzy works on this sort of stuff underground with all of the electronics and shit like that. So he'd be right into that, but I'm loving it as well.
That's a fair headache, eh?
How nice is that? Look at that for a detail. Like, it's just to hold the body on. Amazing. Righto, so we've done that row. Now we've got this EH here. Now that's something different. Fuzz, you got a bit of a wheel like that on your rocket, haven't you? Steelies. So there's obviously a bit of tyre under there because it looks like the seat's a bit short for the tub. It's obviously got some tubs in there.
4.5 under there, look under there.
Yeah, bit of tyre under there. Got the crew on there checking it out. 245 under the back, under 20.
I like the way they see how they've shortened the seat.
Yeah, to get around the tub.
Get around the tub.
Yep. It's still got 2 sets of seat belts.
Yep.
Where's the light man gone? Fuzzy got distracted looking at stuff. There we go. Is the XC finished? No, mate, I've put up a few times now that the crazy world we've been in this year really sort of did us over, so it's not here. The best I could manage was to paint a bumper bar and bring that so you can see the colour, and that's down on the mother's stand. It's down in the Mallee Pavilion. And I'm not going to say where it's going to be finished for because I'm getting sick of getting screwed over, so we're going to get it done. We're going to keep the channel going on the build until it's finished, and the owner's keen to see it finished, but he's been waiting 10 years now, and he said to me, don't rush it, just get it built properly, and we'll be doing that, and we'll bringing it to you on our YouTube channel, which is Astill Design. Now, it's pretty cool. So the old Slant 6, I don't know that you ever met, when I was in the riding bikes back in the day, can't even bloody name, he had a Valiant, one of these with the Slant 6 in it, and man, he used to go. I mean, it used to really get off.
Used to kick your ass all the time.
So if you think about now with that pump on there, it must have a fair bit going on. Will say. Had the white valve. I remember coming home from Silverton on that bumpy road, and I reckon we were airborne half the time. Unbelievable. All right, so enough reminiscing. What else? Oh, now this, and I said there was a few Mustangs. This is really one of those. You're right. This is one of those classic jobs where there's things done you don't see. You know, tuck bumpers, panel alignment and gaps are pretty darn good on it. And I've obviously built my own of these. This is a 67, I think. Mine was a 66, so they're different body shape. But they weren't much of a fit. But have a look at that dash. So he's gone to a lot of effort to make that sort of look factory, but someone's done a lot of steel work, and then it's got vintage air and electric windows, and all sorts of stuff going on. And then it's obviously going to get a bit of use, got a cage in it. I'm not doing bad for a bloke who wasn't going to talk much, eh? So Fuzzy and I checked this out the front yesterday, and I normally don't like, you know, having the tray thing in here and all that, but I mean, this one does look really good. Let's grab my water bottle out there. I just had to get my water bottle and get a drink. Yeah, I like that. That's good. So, I've seen this Fuzz at the Hot Rod Show up in Sydney, and it's just got a lot of standout features. Just can't get my head around it. Definitely stands out in the crowd. What are you trying to tell me, Fuzz? That might be what's going on, you reckon? 440 wob. So, I don't know my Mopars well enough to know what had them really big scoops, but I don't know if they've ever won that big. That's really big. I like that gold on the wheels. Oh, watch what you're doing. Righto, so behind us here, we've got a little pickup, Rodeo, what is it? Rodeo? Hilux, of course it is. So, Jasmine, yeah, so she won the Laurie Starling a couple of years ago, I think. 91 Hilux. And I'm pretty sure if I know what I'm talking about, I think she's working now with Maskell. So, it's definitely on its guts.
She does the interior.
She's the interior girl, of course she is. Oh yeah, look at that. Some hours in there, I can tell you. Righto, done that. Now, the CH, so this was on the PPG stand last Summernats, which is 2 years ago now. And I'll see on his post that they done a bit more work. It's a pity someone didn't shut that door. You get a bit of a look down the side, but doesn't matter. Fuzz is just pointing me where to go. So you've got the undercarriage looking real slick. Nice colour combos. It's pretty cool, Fuzz, with that. I guess the fuel line there goes through the rail. It's a nice touch.
Bounce it up and over.
Yeah.
Or under it.
So I noticed last night in here that something I really like was the way they've done the underside of the boot lid. So they've gone with a matte clear. Try and get that light to stop reflecting on the camera lens. So they've gone with the matte colour, trim colour against the body colour. And it just sort of makes the whole thing look pretty cool and finished, eh? Just under the mould.
No.
All the door jambs, the door tops.
Yeah, so young
all the
folks
same.
pointing out like around the inner doors and that. I did see that last night. That well, they like. Are you an AH man too? You everything Holden or just Commodores? Everything Holden. So was that factory or is that something they've come up with? Were they?
They were painted.
They were
factory,
painted?
But I reckon it's body colour.
Yeah. So the seats in that's fairly different. Look at the square back on that.
Yeah.
Squared up.
It almost looks like a half an add-on, doesn't it? But it's different.
So a lot of car there. Be interested to see how that goes. Yeah, it's a bit of a tight fit, obviously. Pretty tight to the firewall, but it's in there.
very, very tidy cars.
isn't it? So it should do pretty well. Now, I've seen this one at the Hot Rod show too, Fuzz. I don't know whether you've been, probably the young fellas beyond it, downtown Customs, because it's
Yeah, he's been watching it.
yeah, pretty heavy modification. They're their own front ends. That's one of their front ends, and then I like this subtle look with the matte undercarriage, and you know it all still looks cool, and I don't see why everything's got to be bling bling. And then up here, it's almost a bit tail spinnish, isn't it, with the paint and all filled in. So you can see it in the camera there, the matte engine bay against the gloss outer, and then all those panels. A bit of work there to make all that stuff, and then be able to screw it in.
Make it look good.
Yeah. So young Trav said to me last night, I better build a Holden and it better be one of this shape, and then I can build it for him, but he might have to win the lotto or something first.
Definitely.
Now this young folks just said this very nice interior. This won an award for interior, like an international award, that you know put your photos and all in and get nominated, and it won that award. I don't know the name of the award, but he's done a couple of. He did this one and also Sharp. Trying to think of the name. The HQ.
Oh, Sharp Q.
Hey?
Is that Sharp Q?
Yeah. Dyslexia kicking in, mate. I'll sneak a look in here, walk on someone's carpet and give you guys a look. So, very stylish. So that's Brent Parker. He's got that style of his, and he's done a few now, and he's got a nice, tight, clean look about it. There we go, one row to go. So, another hot rod. Classic black and red. There's them wheels, Fuzz says. Not sure about the knockoffs, but I've always loved that shape wheel. When I used to build models as a young fella, they were always on all the drag cars. I'm glad we're nearly done because I'm running out of puff. Now this thing won't run out of puff.
This has got plenty of puff.
So we're only talking last night. When we came here in like 82, me and Fuzz 40-year anniversary this year for coming over here and looking at these cars, and Fuzz, we're lucky to see a blower an hour on the cruise route, and you'd be hanging out waiting for a blown car. Now you're waiting for a car that's not blown so you can talk to each other. So all you young blokes, you're all spoilt with what you get to see now. We had to hang out for Myers to chuck a lap, or one of the boys with their blowers, Victor Bray, full metal jacket. So something I'm going to talk quickly about before I finish is that people often wonder about how did this car or how did that car get in the hall. You've got to understand that what's in the hall here is all of the finalists in all the different categories in the elite classes. So, you know, if you build a coupe, for instance, you've got to get in the hall, you've pretty much got to come in the top 3 or 4 coupes that are judged in elite to get in the hall. But if you've got a ute or a panel van, you've only got to beat all the utes and panel vans to get in the hall. So I hope that sort of helps people to understand that it's actually called the top 60, but it's not the top 60 cars at the Summernats. It's all of the finalists and qualifiers for trophies in the elite classes. So we'll turn around here and we'll go back down one more line. And there they are. Oh, that's different. No, they're slightly different. It's not quite them. So it's at a little Windsor. A couple of cars to go, and it's almost one of the last ones, which is interesting to see because if you would have seen on my YouTube channel, I went out and gave an old friend a bit of advice and help on bringing his car, or him and his son's car, to Summernats. And that's this thing over here called FAT, the VL. So that was probably 3 weeks ago, and I had a look at the car with them and give them a bit of advice and a few tips on what I thought they needed to do, and they were pretty much determined that they wanted to go into Elite and try and make top 60. And my suggestion was probably to run Tough Street with what I've seen. And I've got to congratulate them on the amount of effort they've put in that last 3 weeks, because the car's way, way better than it was when I looked at it. And to their credit, they've now got themselves a nice top 60 mug, and they'll find out later today whether they might have got something else. So he didn't think he had a chance. He honestly didn't think he had a chance. So he'd been out cruising it for 2 days. So then they had to work really hard yesterday afternoon to get it cleaned back up again to put it in here. And they obviously bought lights and ropes, but they didn't have a lot of expectation. So I was going to have a chat to him, but because of all my technical issues and not knowing what I'm doing.
He's done a good job with the lights.
Yeah, well, I said to him, Fuzz, you've got to have in here, if you want to make your car stand out and people to appreciate the car, you need to have plenty of light, because it's a very dark hall. Yeah. And over the years, we've found that all these windows are all opaque, so it throws this really weird light on the car, and the car doesn't look its best in here. It's really hard to get a car to look good in here, so that's why you've got to whack a whole lot of light on it. I mean, it's funny, this is almost where I normally camp, because there's power and there's a back door and you can zip out and get a drink or whatever. So good luck to father and son team. Hopefully they might pick something up later in the awards.
That's actually very good on this.
Yeah, so the boys at Yes Smash down in Wollongong give it a re-go about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we painted Darren's car. So Darren was mates with the owner there, and I did all the blocking, and then it went on myself and Darren's brother, and it went out there to be painted. Darren's brother painted it. So Yugi and the boys, they've done a good job. And then we got the boat, mate. How'd you be like me blocking them sides, mate? Eh? I don't know, well, that's at least a 20. I don't know how big that is, but now there's a really good use of the right parts to have a nice look without spending a whole lot of money, because they've all been tastefully selected to make the look, and then someone's gone to the trouble of engraving the air cleaner, which is pretty cool. Very nice. Righto, well, I think we've got a panel van and a hot rod fuzz, and we've done it. 11:15, that's not too bad really.
No. That's not meant to be in there.
There we go, a little 5 litre. Oh, are they? Trav just said they're back. We'll go and talk to the owners of that VL and say hello. That'll just about wind us up, which will be good. Now, we've had a technical itch, see, so we're on the phone, so I'll give this to one of these boys. So we're still live. Come in. Dad don't like the camera. No, not at all. Alright, so well done, boys. So, let them talk loud. So, well done. Thank you. So, what, 1 o'clock? I don't know. Yes, they're all sitting up there now. So, I think it's only 1 o'clock. So, best of luck. Just saying, the last 3 weeks, so well done.
Well, it wasn't for you, I'm sure the car would have been here for your help.
What made you feel like? Good on you. Good luck. All the little things that you told us to do in the car, I think you've got us a couple of lines. No worries. All right. I might sign off today. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll whack it up on my page on Facebook and hope to catch up on YouTube.